Hey guys, it's Rob. We're back. We're going to do another Proving Grounds practice machine. This time we're doing a machine called Monstra. It is a Windows machine and it is rated as easy. So without further ado, you can see I am on Offsec VPN and I do have Monstra spun up, and here's the IP address. Now, first thing we did, ran an nmap scan. Service version detection, T4, all ports aggressive. And a bunch of stuff came back. 80, SMB, SSL, terminal services, a couple of unknowns, and a bunch of RPC ports. I was most interested in 80 to start with, so that's what I did is I went to 80. Now this is one of those front-end websites that does nothing. You click the links and they're just dead links. So I decided to do some go busting, and you can see we did go busting with the derby common.txt, and there's a few things that popped in here. Interestingly enough was the blog link. So I clicked on one of those, open link, and it opens up Mike's blog, but it looks a little jacked up, like it's not formatted correctly. So I was poking around in here and I clicked on users, and that's when I saw this Monstra PG. So I said right away, we need to add something to the Etsy host file, so that's what we're going to do. Sudo nano Etsy hosts. Scroll down to the bottom. We'll copy in this entry that I have with the IP address and the host. Copy, paste. We'll do a Control O, Control X, and that should be good to go. So let's close this window. Let's go back here. We'll click reload. All right, so here's that user's link. So if we go home, the blog looks formatted correctly now that we're using the correct name. And if we click users, there's admin and Mike. Now, I did a bunch of searching for exploits for this, and all the good ones were authenticated, meaning you needed credentials. So I spent a substantial amount of time trying to log in as admin and Mike. But ultimately, what worked for me was using admin and Mike's last name, Wazowski. Copy. So if we click login, type in admin, and we paste his last name in, that logs us in. So now we can go to administration, and here's where a lot of the exploits come in, where they're saying you can upload certain files and everything like that. Those manual exploits, like where I was trying to upload files and everything, just didn't work for me. So ultimately what I decided to do was to look in Certsploit. And I did get a little frustrated because a lot of these were just not working, but then I noticed in the one that the code was a little jacked up. And because it's Python and I can, get by in Python, I did some cleanup on the code and it worked. So I will put a link to the cleaned up code in the description below in my GitHub. Okay, but the one that we're going to be using is 52038, which is a actually, I believe it's the unauthenticated version of this. I had some trouble with the authenticated version as well, and that one, it would just return, when you click on the link to get to the web shell, you would just get this 404. So I'm not sure what happened. But did we need the credentials? Did we not need the credentials? I tried a bunch of authenticated exploits, and none of them worked. I tried this one up here, too. This one didn't work for me either. So regardless, we're going to use 52038. So Certsploit, and then to copy that over, we just do TAC-M, and it's 52038. Okay, so we can close this. We go to our folder. We open our folder, and here's the exploit. So we're going to open this with mousepad, and it's going to require a Python virtual environment. Now, I will tell you some of this code is jacked up, but we'll wait to get to that. And we'll troubleshoot it together. So what I'm going to do here is I have a folder for Monstra. I'm just going to drag this in here because we need to create a Python virtual environment. So let's do that in a separate folder. So we're going to open a terminal here. We're going to do Python 3 venv.venv to create the virtual environment. We know we need to install requests. So venv bin pip install requests. So request is installed. So now here's the string that you need to do to actually And this one, just because it's unauthenticated doesn't mean you can't, it does have the option to provide credentials. So if you look at it, it's pointing towards the Monstra blog, and then it's got admin and the password, which is Wazowski. It's just funny that that's the guy's actual name. So if we hit enter, we get this error, syntax unterminated string literal on 51. So if we go back to the folder and we open this code in Mousepad, and we go to line 51, yeah, it's pretty obvious, like some of this stuff got carried over like that. Let's see if we see anything else. This definitely doesn't look right. That should be there. We're probably going to get some indentation errors for these. Oh, here's another one. We're going to get some indentation errors for these if-else's. So let's just save this and see what happens if we try to run it again. Yeah, expected an indented block after if statement. So now we'll just go in there and we'll clean those up. So if we start at the top, there's an if statement up here. So we'll just do the tab. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Tab. So all we're doing is putting an indentation after the code that's supposed to run in the if statement. So that's one. Here's another one. So we want to put an indentation there, an indentation here, because this code belongs to this else. We're going to put an indentation here, and then again, I did it again, split it. We'll put these two, because these two lines of code go with the else. Now let's see if there's any more. Yep, one more. And this looks like it's jacked up too. So we'll tab, and this, I believe, goes on the previous line like that. And then we have to tab on this one last else statement. So now this should all be cleaned up. This is why it's good to be able to understand Python and read those errors. So now we'll just cross our fingers and hope this works, because otherwise I'm going to look like an idiot, but we'll see. So let's clear the screen, and then we'll run the exploit again. Logging in, login successful, preparing shell. Your shell is ready. Now, I will be honest with you, this shell is super limited. So if we open this link, like I think ID works, maybe. Nope. Maybe here's some of the commands that I tried. Groups, hostname. Hostname does work. Groups. Nope. So what I did was I went to payloads all the things, and I tried to hit this with a bunch of one-liners for a reverse shell. And the one that I had luck with, because it's a Windows machine obviously, is PowerShell. So if you go to payloads all the things, let's do that right now. Reverse shell cheat sheet. You just scroll down to PowerShell. And I use this first one. It's gigantic. But you got to, obviously, before you paste it in, you got to edit the IP address and the port that you want to connect back on. So I got mine. I just want to make sure my IP address hasn't changed. It has not. And we're going to do, I noticed on this machine, I've noticed this on a couple of machines, where they're limiting the traffic on ports. So if you try to do crazy ports like 4242 in this example, it isn't working. So we know 443 is open. So that's where I'm going to actually try and get a reverse shell back. So we're going to open up a netcat listener on 443. And we'll see what happens. It may not work. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not that good at this stuff. So I'm going to copy my PowerShell payload in there that I modified from payloads all the things. Copy. I'm going to paste it in here. And I'm going to execute. And it hung. So that's a good sign. Let's see what happened. And we have a shell. So let's do bin. Oh, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. Let's just hit enter. Yeah, you just hit enter and it gives us the prompt. So one thing to be aware of, this is obviously running some kind of technology stack, XAMPP, You know, so it's like Windows, Apache, MariaDB, and PHP, etc. So that's going to come into play. But first, let's see what we got going on here. And let's see if we can go to C, and we'll do a dir. So there's the XAMPP, right? So we'll mess around with that later. Let's go cd users dir. Let's go cd mic dir, cd desktop. Let's see if we can get the flag dir. Type local.txt. Okay, so we got the user flag. Now, if we could just figure out, and I did this machine a while ago, so I'm going to struggle a little bit to remember where I got the XAMPP version, or if I even needed XAMPP, or if I just searched for an exploit for XAMPP. So let's just go into the XAMPP directory, and we'll do a dir and see what's in there. PHP myadmin, anonymous, CGI bin, Tomcat. Let's see. Let's choose, we're going to do this on the fly. Determine XAMPP version. I don't even know if it makes a difference. I don't have access to the control panel. Let's see. Show XAMPP. Okay, XAMPP tac version. Let's see if that works. But that's in Linux. That's not going to work. Oh, a Linux or Windows. XAMPP version. XAMPP locate the properties.ini file. So let's see if that file is available. Yeah, it is. So let's type properties. No, tab doesn't work. .ini. There we go. So see, you learn something every day. But that's exactly what I do. I determine what I want to do, and then I go to Google, and Google helps me usually. So let's go to search exploit, and let's see if there's any privesc for XAMPP. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see, 50. Local privilege escalation. What was the version we were on? 7310-1. Let's see if this one works. 7310. Yeah, it should. I mean, if this escalation issue affects everything lower than that. So let's give it a whirl. See what happens. Let's do search exploit tac-m, and we want 50.337. And it looks like it's a PowerShell script. So I hope there's some kind of instructions with this. Let's see. Kali. We'll open this in Mousepad. Okay. So looks like we definitely have to generate an MSF Venom. I wonder where this link would take us. Well, maybe there'll be some instructions there. Looks like we have to generate an MSF Venom payload because they're doing msf.exe and they're running it from the temp directory, which makes sense. Let's see where this web page takes us. Paste and go. Yeah, I don't think that's going to help. Okay, so let's try and figure this out. Let's look at this code again. So it's looking for, it's making the XAMPP control.ini, it's loading it into a variable. It's looking for that file, and then it's doing some magic on it. Insert payload here. Replace. Okay, so we can just do MSF. We'll just name our payload MSF. That way we don't have to change anything here. Okay. All right. We'll do that. All right, so looks like we have to generate an MSF payload using MSF Venom. So let's, I believe I have a, yep, I do. Reverse shell. Copy. Paste clipboard. So, I mean, you guys probably have seen this a million times. We're just generating a Windows shell reverse TCP. We're attacking, this is our host and our port. I don't know if that's going to work, but we'll try it. And then this is the architecture and encoder, and we want it in the format of an exe file for Windows, so a Windows binary, and we're going to name it msf.exe. This way we don't have to change anything. So we'll hit enter. See what happens. Okay, looks like we got it. All right, so if we look at our folder, we have this. Let's name this. We'll rename this because it'll be easier. So we'll rename it MSFPS1 because I believe both the script and the payload need to go over to the other machine. If we look at the code again, they have it in temp. So I wonder if there's a temp directory, and if not, can we create one? So we can close this. Let's see. CD, C, all right, dir. Let's see if we can, I forget how to make a directory in Windows. I think, is it makedir? No. I literally can't remember how to create a directory in a Windows command line. Create a directory. I know it's makedir in Linux, but I'll be stupid if it's makedir. Yeah, it's the same thing, you dummy. God almighty, you guys must think I'm a moron. So let's makedir temp. Let's see what happens. Okay, we have a temp directory. So let's do dir. Okay, so let's go into temp. And I tried certutil and I tried a few other things. They did not work. So I ended up having to use PowerShell to transfer the files over. So that's what we're going to do. Let me just modify my code here because I changed the name of the payload. So MSF, and then we name this MSF. MSF. Okay. So we'll copy over the executable payload that we generated. So copy. I'll be amazed if this works. Paste. And I got to start a web server before we do anything. Let's see if 8000 will work. So open terminal here, Python 3 module HTTP, and let's try it on 8000 and see if it works. So I'm telling you, some of these ports just don't work. I don't know if Windows Firewall is blocking them or what. We don't need this anymore. Let's try this and see if it works. Let's do an ls, and it's there. Okay, great, it worked. Now we'll try to get the PS1 script over there. Copy. Paste clipboard. And this, if you've never seen this PowerShell command, I'm sorry I didn't explain it earlier. We're just invoking a web request for the URI, and this is pointing towards my web server and the file we want to transfer, and then the out file is the name of the file we want it to be when it's on our copied over to our machine. That's all. So we're going to hit enter. and we'll do an ls. Now theoretically, if everything is okay, we should just be able to execute that PowerShell script, and we should be able to get elevated privileges, but we'll see. Let's try it. So to execute, we are in a PowerShell prompt, so we should just be able to type dot, and I think it's / msf.ps1. Oh, I forgot to do the reverse shell to do the listener. So you got to do a netcat and LVP, and I think we did it on 4.4.3. Okay, now we're listening. Now we run the PowerShell script. Dot msf.ps1. Let's see what happened. Still listening. I think I may have done that wrong. I think it's dot / msf.ps1. Nope, I don't think that port's going to work, unfortunately. Oh no, look at that. It just took a second. Okay. I was ready to give up, boys and girls, and there we go. We got a shell. So we could say, who am I? And we're administrator. So now let's go to cd c users administrator. Desktop, and we'll do a dir, and there's the proof.txt, so we'll do type, and I will blur this out. And there's the flag. So there you go. Don't give up, boys and girls. So I did do the command wrong the first time. It is definitely a /. I am so ingrained to using Linux that I just cannot, for the life of me, sometimes remember how to do things in Windows. Like, I completely forgot make dir was the same in both. But it is dot space dot / and then run the PowerShell script. So there you go. There's how we exploited this machine. We ran an mmap scan. We saw 80 was open. We went to 80. So, just a cardboard website with no links that worked or anything. So we did some go busting. We found there's a blog attached. We went to the blog. It kind of worked, but then we figured out we needed to add Monstra PG to our host file. Once we did that, I poked around and was able to find some credentials by using admin and the Mike Wazowski's last name. I used a remote code execution exploit to get a very, very basic web shell, which I put payloads all the thing PowerShell one-liner into to get a proper reverse shell. We then figured out that XAMPP was running on the machine. We went into the XAMPP folder, looked at the properties.ini, figured out the version, did a search on searchsploit for XAMPP, found a local privilege escalation, which included a PowerShell script that would run an MSF Venom payload. We got those over to the machine. We ran it. We got another reverse shell, this time as administrator, and we're able to get the flag. So great machine. I enjoyed it. Hope you found this video useful. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will place all the links that I used in the description below. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them below. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.